What's going on, guys? Dan back here with the Regular Guy Garage. I realize it's been about 3 weeks since I filmed the last video. Reason being, if you saw my last little post that I did, I'm still waiting on parts. So I don't like to put out videos just to put out videos for the sake of putting out videos. And so that's why there's been this little break that I've been taking. And honestly, it's actually kind of been a good little break, because sometimes you just get in this groove and you start to lose motivation and stuff. And the little break sometimes just helps out. But anyway, I have been doing some work on the car. Nothing that's really like super exciting, which is why I didn't really film any of it. It was just a bunch of little things that it was easier for me just to put the camera down, finish these things really quick, and then show you guys on the back end basically what I did. Guys, so the engine is back in the car, got the radiator in the car, everything filled with water. I have the electric water pump on. I have the electric water pump wired up also, and it works. It is hooked up to the Terminator X. I'll show you how I did that here in a minute. I found the correct size belt. The alternator is still just loosely on. The belt fits. I had to get, so if you are going to do this setup, which would be the Moroso alternator relocation kit, just an alternator and the crankshaft pulley, this is a 35.5-inch belt. So 35.5 inch, it is, what is it, Continental belt. There's the number right there. So that's your setup, that's the belt that you need. Additionally, got the fuel line still sitting here. This is all going to get ripped out. I have a fuel system coming. I just haven't pulled this stuff out yet, but I do have some new fuel line fittings. I'm going to have braided hose running up to there because I did pull the fuel tank out of the car. Aside from that, like I said, got the radiator back in the car. Electric fans are also wired up. The HOLLEY Terminator X controls all of that. Controls the water pump, controls the fans. I have the water pump set to come on when the RPM is above 400 because I don't want it to turn on while I'm cranking. And then temperature, I believe I have to get up to 110. I set it. I'll have to check. And then the fans, they don't kick on until I think 160. All of it wired up through the Terminator X. All right, and I'm moving over to the back of the car really quick. It's been really cold out here too. We were supposed to get tornadoes and stuff yesterday. We didn't, thankfully. But anyway, going on the back of the car. So I have the battery is all set up. I just need to put a battery relocation or the cutoff switch. This was really simple to set up too. I know somebody had commented, they said they were really curious on how to do this, but after dropping the fuel tank, it's really self-explanatory. You just put the bottom pan there, drill 2 holes in it, and then just the threaded rod goes through. There's really nothing to it. As for a ground strap, I'll show you. I'll crawl up under the car and show you where I actually have the ground cable hooked up to. Other than that, the power cable runs all the way back through the car and hooks back up, to its regular location here on the on this starter solenoid. Anyway, besides that, we have a 10-gallon fuel cell in the car. I did have to cut a hole in the floor. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see right there, those 2 fittings. So I had to cut a small rectangular hole out in the floor because it is a sumped fuel tank, but it is bolted down. It fits in there nicely. I have to build some sort of a firewall to make this legal for racing. I'll probably just find some sort of some sort of sheet metal or something and just kind of build something here so that this way, when I close the hatch, it'll be blocked off. Because in the event that there is an actual fire or something, I don't want any fuel inside the car. I'd rather keep it out here. That's for the ground cable, which comes out of the box. As like I said, I took out the fuel tank, so it's just the cable is running back through this hole right here. And then what I ended up doing, I gotta try and sneak under here. You might not be able to see. This is the bolt where the exhaust hanger actually goes in and touches the frame. I just kind of polished it off to get bare metal, and then I put the ground strap to here. Now what I'm going to eventually do is this cable will run to the cutoff switch, and then the other side of the cutoff switch will run to this little ground strap, this ground area here. Now I'm able to do this because I'm not going to be running a full exhaust on this car. However, if you are setting up this battery relocation kit, just find a really good solid spot on the frame and go ahead and run your cable in there. It'll work perfectly fine. Just make sure you got a nice bare metal connection and you won't have any issues. That's the bolts or the threaded rod that comes through for the bottom side of the battery box. Just goes right through there. Much easier with no fuel tank in the car. I still have to pull the fuel lines out, which you can see right here. Gotta pull all that stuff out. The reason why I'm doing that is because I have a whole inline fuel system that I'm going to be putting in. It's still at 255 liter per hour. Just something to get us going with this turbo kit that I'm also waiting on, which should be here actually this weekend. So right after this video, you should have another video for me not very long after, because I'm going to get going on that turbo kit. The fuel pump, the fuel system should be here that following week. So I'm hoping by like April 1st, we'll have this car out. Hopefully, you know, maybe during that weekend somewhere at the track. That's the goal. We'll see. I'm still gonna have a lot of ironing out to do with the tune. But, you know, things are looking up. The video should start picking back up. We should get back to racing this car, and we should be much, much faster than we were last year. So now I wanna get to the meat and potatoes of this video. What I wanna show you is how the easiest way to set up your Holley Terminator X and run an electric water pump, and how to hook up your electric fans. And to be quite honest, in addition to the Holley Terminator X, you really, really need this MSD solid state relay that I bought for the car. So simple, no need to run a whole bunch of different relays and stuff like that. You just hook everything up through here, and you can run everything from the Terminator off of this relay right here. Okay, guys, so don't mind my little mess. This is the passenger side of the car. I'm eventually going to clean all this up, plus the carpet's going to be back in the car and stuff too, but for now I just want to show you. So this is an MSD solid state relay. I posted an Instagram post about it with the part number and everything. I'll try to drop a link in the description with the link to where I bought it, but I think it was like it was 100 some odd bucks. I bought it from Holley. And it is really, really nice to have. So basically what I do is I ran a 4-gauge cable off the battery to bring power to this. And then each one of, so these red wires, this is power to the electric fans. This is power to the electric water pump. And then over here we have, these are the input-output lines which come off of the Holley Terminator harness itself. Additionally, you have a ground cable. This, you just hook it to a regular ground. I got it hooked up right up here somewhere. And then this green one is where the fuel pump is going to run off this as well. This is going to be the signal wire for the fuel pump, so that's just hooked up for now, so don't worry about that. But yeah, super simple. Everything to right here. I don't have to run individual relays. What I am going to do is I need to tie in a couple fuses. I want to put some fuses. For now, I just tested them out really quick. Everything works fine. But I would maybe put like a 30 amp fuse or something on each line, and it'll be, you know, a little bit better protection. But either way, this MSD solid state relay simplifies anything. I believe there's a newer one out which does some higher amperage, but for what I'm doing, this is absolutely perfect. You can also, when I have my, when I get the trans brake in, I'm going to run that off here as well, along with the rev limiter that is in the Holley Terminator computer itself. I could run all of that off of, you know, the same button, but it all is going to come through this solid state relay. And then the other thing that I forgot to show you before, the gray and yellow wire is the wire that comes to number 1 here on your output side. This is for the electric fans. And then the gray and red wire coming off the harness for the outputs goes into the number 2 slot. Okay, so this one's for your water pump, your output, and then this one is for your electric fans. As for wiring up the electric water pump, really straightforward and simple, okay? You got your connector right here. This one goes to a ground. Mine goes right to the engine block where the old ground from the battery used to go, but a nice solid engine block ground. And then this power cable right here, this power cable runs to that number 2 port that I showed you. And then for the fans, it's literally the same exact thing. The ground wire for the fans comes up here to where this headlight harness goes to. You know, it's a nice little, you know, chassis ground. And then there's 2 power cables, since there is 2 fans, but I just run them into one. It's a little bit thicker. I think this is a 10 gauge also, maybe a 12 gauge, but a little bit thicker power wire. I ran the 2 wires into it, and then this goes into that other 10 gauge power cable that comes off that MSD solid state relay. And then, I mean, I'm not done yet. I just started to put some loom on it, but this is all going to be, once I get the turbo kit on, the turbo will sit right about here. I'll move all this stuff so it's out of the way, zip tie it up, and then loom the rest of it off. But for now, I mean, it just runs back through this loom down in through the firewall. But now let me grab my laptop really quick and I will show you very quick and easy how to set this up inside the Terminator X, and then I'll even give you a little display to show you that it actually works. Alright guys, so now we're going to go into the HOLLEY Terminator software itself. So, what is going on here? So first I'm going to connect to the ECU. We are synced. Okay, I'll just start from the beginning here. Alright, so I don't know what happened, but the tune that I had put in here is completely gone. So I'm going to have to build a whole new one. Which is good because you guys will be able to see what I do here. So I'm going to go to base cals. Just pick one of this Ford small block turbo because it's going to be turbo. No. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do, actually let me set this up really quick. It's 331. I did change the injectors to, and I think, yeah, these 60 pound an hour Siemens Deca. And then, which is nice because it populated all of the injector data. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into my I/O configuration. We need to do outputs. I'm going to do water pump. Water pump. Let's enable that. It's ground activated. Let's configure it. What I'm going to do is do sensor input, 2 sensors. This is, first one's going to be RPM above 400. And then this will be coolant temperature sensor, which is right there, CTS above 110. All right, let's go to, now we'll go to the basic I/O function. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for, pin map, sorry. We're gonna get rid of all this stuff. We don't need the AC kick. We're gonna leave electric fan 1 in output number 1. We're gonna take these off. I'm gonna drag my water pump down into output number 2. Then let's go over, actually I need to go back here because I need to change the old, what's it called? IAC. I'm not using a GM, this is a Ford. Pulse width modulation, I think this is like 312. Input output, this one I have to actually throw that one in the pin map really quick. I believe this one I just threw it down in 4 last time. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this up to the So I'm going to send this to the ECU. Okay, now I'm going to cycle the power off really quick. What I'm going to do is go back to this, actually I'll start with, oh wait, I never did the electric fan. Let me go to the electric fan. I gotta go offline. Basic I/O. That's what, so I turn fan 2 off, turn all of this stuff off. What I'm gonna do is turn the fan on at say 50 degrees and off at 40. And now when I send this up, those electric fans should kick on. Fans kicked on. So let's turn these back off. Now let's go ahead and check the electric water pump really quick. I'm gonna go back to, let's go back to my configuration here. So what I'm gonna do, this is how I'm gonna have it set up in the car, but for now I'm gonna have it down to 1. We're gonna go coolant temperature sensor, and I'm gonna drop it down to say 50, and you can hear the electric water pump just turned on. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off again real quick. Put my 2 input sensors back the way I had them, which was RPM and coolant temperatures. Oop, not pedal position. RPM 400 and 110. So sorry if that was a little weird for a second. I noticed that last time I uploaded it to the ECU, but I never finished out with, like, it makes you do like a TPS auto set and all that stuff. I just uploaded it and then shut the thing off, and it never saved anything. So I went back through, set the whole thing up again, as you guys saw. Everything works fine. I shut the key, or then I saved it to the disk or the card, and then shut it off. So if it does that again, I could just upload the tune that, it's not really a tune, but the setup that I put in. It's gonna be interesting trying to tune this car and learn a turbo setup for the first time. I'm really excited to get it put in. Like I said, lots of videos coming up again really soon now that we got some parts coming here. Hopefully this helps you guys out who are trying to install these things such as the electric water pump, electric fans, and then run it all through your Holley Terminator. To be honest, you guys might have heard me say a whole bunch of times, I am very novice and green when it comes to any sort of wiring in cars or anything at all. And I was easily able to figure this stuff out. You know, a couple YouTube searches. There's actually a really good video that Holley has on their actual YouTube channel. Just go to their YouTube channel, you can easily find it. It helped me out. Sorry for the short, break, but it was kind of nice to not film and get rid of these little nagging things out of the way. Hooking this stuff up, it was just tedious, and I don't really think it was film worthy. But the stuff that I really enjoy doing, the racing, I have a draggy. We're gonna do some draggy stuff inside the car. And yeah, we're gonna play with this thing, see how far it'll get us. And then what I'm actually gonna do is start building the next engine that's gonna replace this tiny little thing. And what I really wanna do is, I really wanna stick with small block Ford. I know the 351 is a very good base to build off of, but I really wanna keep it this 8.2 deck. I might try and do like a 363 build, a very stout build that will hold a good amount of power. And yeah, we'll see how far we can go with this thing, because I could always get bigger turbos and stuff like that once we start to get this car faster and faster. Because as you guys know, my goal, and if you don't know, my goal is a 599 with this car, and I'm pretty confident that one day we'll eventually get there. Anyway guys, that's gonna be it for this video. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with the channel. If you don't follow me on Instagram, @RegularGuyGarage. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. As always, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.